Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today for our monthly webinar. My name is Belinda Herbert, and I'm the Marketing Executive here at AFTA. I'm pleased to have joining us today the lovely Bronwyn White, who is CEO of New Young Consulting. Bronwyn is going to share with us today some practical advice on how to grow your business with less time and less budget. Now, before I hand over to Bronwyn, I've got a couple of quick housekeeping points. Today you are all on mute, so there won't be any background noise from any of our attendees. If you'd like to ask a question, simply use the questions toolbox, and you can type in a question at any point, and we'll address those at the end of the session. Now, today's webinar will be recorded, and we'll have it up on our AFTA website by tomorrow. So if you want to share it with anyone in your team, we'll have the link in the follow-up email that will be sent out tomorrow, with a direct link to our website so you can go and view it and watch it again if you want. All right, now I'll hand it over to Bronwyn.
Thank you, Belinda. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming along today. And I have to say, I've been given the webinar in probably the worst month we've had in many, many years. So I'm not sure if the topic's really relevant now, but hopefully I can help make it relevant. And on that note, just to give you a little bit of information about who I am and what I do and what I've done on the weekend, it might help. So I'm the CEO of a company called New Young Consulting, and New Young is an insights and marketing company that specialises in marketing to the over 55 seniors travel market. And New Young's key product is our Marketing to Seniors Insights and Blueprint that helps travel industry professionals engage with the most profitable travel cohort of our lifetimes. And I'm going to show you through a couple of these things, and such a big statement, but I'll show you why in just a minute. So today will have definitely an over 55s flavour, because as you'll see in a moment, that's exactly where the travel market sits, regardless of whether you're involved in luxury or intergenerational or whatever you're doing. This market, they're ready to travel at any time. So in saying that, being a researcher, so currently I'm a researcher, but I have worked as a retail travel consultant myself. Now, I'll be showing my age here when I let everybody know that I started at Qantas Jet About Holidays, which is no longer, of course. But I also had some time in the Qantas Retail Travel Centre in Collins Street, Melbourne. So, and I always say, still to this day, out of all the travel jobs that I've ever done, I'm going to go back to retail travel because I loved that job. I loved it so much, and I still love it. So, yeah, I just love the travel industry. It's all I've done. So hopefully I can help a little bit today with that lens, knowing what, having a deep understanding of how the industry works and what some of the things you're going through right now. But what I want to first go off topic. So I thought I'd give you, so I've got this brief to talk about growth hacking, which I think will be relevant today because we're all probably feeling like we're not growing at all. But on the weekend, as a researcher, I did a little poll. You see politicians do these all the time. They talk about it on the news, where last weekend they ran a poll, they ran a survey and asked questions about how people are feeling about politicians. Well, I ran one of these surveys asking Australians how they feel about travel this weekend. So it was how they're feeling about international travel and domestic travel right now in the context of the coronavirus and the bushfires. So literally everybody on this webinar, it is hot off the press. You are the first people who I have downloaded these results to. So you are the winners. So basically it was just a couple of questions, and it's called a travel sentiment survey. So I basically just asked people how they're feeling about travel right now. So we screened the survey. We only wanted to talk to people that had travel plans. We didn't just ask seniors, we asked everybody in the Australian population. So these are people that had international travel plans and domestic travel plans. So I'll focus on the results of the international travel plans. Now, I just want to say, I reckon this is going to change again next weekend. such is the environment we are in right now. So what I tell you right now may not necessarily be the same next week. But what I saw over the weekend is that we still have an element of travellers who will travel international regardless of what's happening. So we saw about 25% of travellers. However, they are the younger travellers. They're what we probably call a little bit slightly reckless. They don't care. They're going anyway. In fact, they're probably the ones that are going to make most of the deals that are exceptional right now. But what we saw also is amongst some of our older travellers is, in particular around planning, we had about a third of travellers telling us that they're just going to wait to see how it all plays out. So they may be actively in the travel planning period, but they may hold off booking. So what this means for you as agents is that you can really make sure they are armed with every piece of information that they need for when things pick up again. So what we will see at the end of all of this, once the coronavirus is contained, we're going to see an enormous amount of pent-up demand for international travel. So while it's hurting right now, and, you know, it's really awful to say, but, you know, I'm old enough to remember SARS, it did put people out of business, such is the seriousness of this situation. But for those with the cash flow to sustain what's happening right now, it will be enormous once we're back on. So right now, if you've got the time, you know, make sure that you're engaging with your travellers and making sure that they've got all the information that they need on destinations that they're looking at right now. So that's one of the things that you can do as a result of this survey. One of the other points we had, again, around a third of them who had plans actually booked were starting to cancel or were thinking about cancelling their trips. And again, this is skewed to the older travellers. And what this means is that they're worried, and rightly so. You know, if I was an older traveller, actually I am an older traveller, just putting it out there, what am I saying? You know, they're putting out, DFAT's putting out smart traveller alerts. We've got a whole range of things happening that will make your travel insurance null and void. And ethically, we are in a position where, you know, do we really want to sell travel to older travellers that will not be covered? Because, you know, it will ruin people if they're travelling without their travel insurance and they get the coronavirus. So we're really in a place where we've never ever been before. So I wish I could offer a silver bullet, but you know, we're all just sitting and waiting. Each date's different, each date's changing. So, but all I want to say and leave it at that and those results, people should not, I mean, we're talking travellers, should not stop dreaming. So if we can right now facilitate those dreams, keep the travel dream alive, because particularly the older travellers have been dreaming about travel for about 30 or 40 years. So, you know, they want to travel. So when all this is done and dusted, they will be travelling. So just keep engaged and maybe really do some, you know, exceptional consulting if you can at this point. So that is my ad hoc, not part of what I was here to do, but I thought, you know, why not? It's literally hot off the press stuff. Okay, so where do I press?
Yep.
Do you press or do I?
Press.
I press, okay. There we go. So what I want to talk about and this sort of growth hacking principle, I find in travel and tourism, basically we all are a bunch of people that have no time and no money to really do any sales and marketing. So I'm sure we are right in saying that. So what I thought it would be great to talk about some growth hacking principles. And traditionally this has been all about startups who have no time and no money. So we can learn from some of these companies. So everything we talk about is evidence-based, and it's all about growing amidst a backdrop of chaos or disaster, which is what is happening right now. And it's all about not relying anymore on hope it works marketing. So what that means is just, you know, putting up your social media and doing what you did last year because that's what you did last year. So it's all about providing an evidence base and you know, really informing your decisions, because we don't have time to waste, we don't have money to waste. So therefore, we want to make sure it matters and it grows our businesses. Oh, sorry, this one?
Yeah.
I'm pressing the wrong button. And I find this is particularly the case. I've got clients that spend thousands and thousands on digital marketing efforts, and they're not really sure if it's working. So we're spending thousands on Facebook campaigns, Instagram campaigns, and so forth. But are they really working? Does a like mean a sale? Probably not. But, you know, it's one of those things, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. There are other ways that we can, I guess, work that money and time smarter. So I'll be sharing my own experiences today and working from the basis of over 55's travel research, because that's what I do constantly. I'm constantly researching the over 55 traveller. So we're going to go through what growth hacking is, what it's not, and the most fantastic thing about growth hacking is that you will already know all of this stuff. There is nothing new in here. So from that perspective, you're going to be surprised. The key is actually doing it. Action is the key. So when you go through all this stuff and you roll your eyes and you go, I know this, you know it, but can I just ask you to do it? That is the unlocking the growth bit. As mentioned, a little bit about me. I have only worked in travel, which means I have well over 30 years of experience. And I put this slide here, not just for my ego, but we're going to talk a little bit about this down the track, because it's all about social proof, which is something that you can work on when things are a little bit quiet in the office. Okay, getting started. So growth hacking is, you know, a fairly new area of sales and marketing, and I'm going to put sales in there because, as you know, agents, and even anywhere in travel, it's all about the sales and marketing process combined. Now, what growth hacking is, it's not just for startups. We can use what they're doing as established businesses. Now, what it's all about is a relentless focus on growth as a metric. So we don't look at anything else. We don't look at Facebook likes. We don't look at branding. We don't look at anything else except for growth. And I personally, I think that's a pretty good metric to just focus on. So you need to ask yourself, everything that I'm doing, every bit of time, every dollar, is that contributing to growth? So that is at the centre of growth hacking. You know, growth hackers are usually quite innovative with their sales and marketing. It's generally scalable, and it's generally about user connectivity, which we'll go through. And fundamentally, it's all about data and data-driven content decisions. So going back to Hope It Works marketing, can you please ditch that and start thinking about data and growth? They're the two things that you need to think about. See, easy, only two things. Okay. Oh, and that's the other thing I've put here. So as a savvy business owner or marketer, you know, as a growth hacker, you accept that you will never have too much spare time or extra money. So am I right in saying that with everybody listening to me? You never have time, you never have money. Most people I come across use this as an excuse for inaction. Growth hackers use this as an opportunity to grow and grow innovatively. So these days, growth hacking is not about totally free marketing, which is what it used to be. So there will be some costs associated with what we're doing right now, because we're sort of nearly 10 years down the track since it was invented. And growth hacking will not help you if your product or service is a lemon. It will not turn your lemon into a unicorn. So you do have to start off with a really good product or service first. So we'll go through some of these. There's 6 key fundamentals of growth hacking, and it's all about, you know, attracting the right person, the right customer, the right traveller, great first impressions, engaging and educate. We can well improve on this section in travel and tourism, and you'll probably have a bit of time to do this over the next few months. And follow-up, the next thing that you're going to have time to do in the next few months. Sales technology that you probably have and you're not using it to the best of your ability. And the other thing that you're going to be able to do in the next few months is get those referrals happening. So we're going to be getting on the phone a lot. That is my advice. So what growth hackers do is they have a laser focus on the hottest prospects. There's no wastage. So there's no nice to haves around marketing. So for example, you know, if you're an agent and most of your customers coming through the door or booking with you are sort of old on the older side, sort of over 50, 60, you don't want to be looking at millennials. It's just a waste of money, waste of effort. So you want to focus on the segments that ensure growth. So we're not wasting money on tyre kickers. So tyre kickers, for example, will go to trade shows. But, you know, the hard thing is there are often, you know, really good leads at you know, that like shows just gone. I'm not bagging them, but can you justify that amount of money and your return on investment? So yeah, so just looking at what exactly your core market really is. So I want to, again, bring you back to the over 55s market. In the travel and tourism industry, I don't know, we have an obsession with millennial marketing, and I see this with a lot of destination marketing, no matter how many statistics, like I'm delivering tough love now, no matter how many statistics to say that the over 55 is a market that you can't go wrong, we still want to focus on, you know, other markets, which are good if you are having a laser focus. It's not the time to be something for everybody. So if we looked at this market as a global economy, the over 55 sector is the third largest economy behind the USA and China. It is a multi-trillion-dollar economy of people who want to spend that money. It is huge. The opportunity is huge. So it's really time to be in love with grey and silver hair rather than funky clothes. Although there's some pretty funky over 55s out there. I've seen those, you know, nice grey pixie cuts, Belinda. You've seen a few of those around, which the grannies are wearing, and they're looking hot, I must say. I live in Newtown and I see, you know, hot grannies with, you know, pink hair. They're wearing all these great new colours. I love it. So why should we care about baby boomers? Now, some of you that were on last year's webinar may remember this. What I do here is just talk about the story of the baby boomers, why they are the hottest market right now. Now, what is a baby boom? A baby boomer was born after post-World War II. You've probably heard the term. Some of us learnt this stuff in school, some of us didn't, which is why I revisit it. What happened after World War II is that all the men who were fighting in the war around all Western markets, so not just Australia, but we're talking about the USA, UK, Europe, and to an extent Japan. So we had millions of men going home to their wives and girlfriends. So what do you think happened? They shagged. There was a big shag fest around the world. So we can see the implications of all those men coming home from war here in this boring ABS graph. Boring to you, but very exciting for me because there's a massive population growth that happened here. And the reason that we will never be in this position again, so what is happening is these post-World War II baby boomers are retiring now. So this is the other end of what happened there. Now, in the late 60s, the contraceptive pill was introduced. So this is why we will never again, at another moment in time, or at least in our lifetimes, have such a large group of people, large volume of people retiring all at the same time. So despite everything happening right now, these guys have been dreaming for 30 or 40 years about travel. They're primed. So this really is just a blip on their travel plans. And this is the only other boring chart I'm going to show you, I promise, is about Australia's household wealth, where it sits. So as we just saw, is that there's a lot of baby boomers, and as we can see here, they have the money. Millennials just have no money compared to everybody else. Are you laughing? Because are you one? Are you? Yeah, okay.
I'm Gen Y, but yeah, I fall in that category.
Yep, you do. So do you have money?
Not enough.
No. No, exactly. So all of the accumulated household wealth, so it's homes, it's superannuation, it's cash, it's everything. But this is where the money sits. So as a travel agent or a travel professional, we have a high volume of people with lots of time on their hands and lots of money to travel. So they're pure gold. And I'm just going to put this chart up here with some comparisons around the millennial travel market and the baby boomer travel market. So you can see here, baby boomers represent around 26% of Australia's population, millennials about 14%, household wealth, need I say more, time to travel, accessibility to travel, boomers, if they're retired or semi-retired, they have unlimited time to travel. And another misconception is that these guys are tight with their money. Look at who's tight with their money. It's the millennials. We have our baby boomers who understand the value in paying a little bit more for stuff. So they're willing to pay a little bit more for their airfares because they know that these airfares are flexible. They can change their dates if they want to stay in a place. And they're really, really excited about their travel future. The key thing around time to travel with millennials, they make amazing corporate travellers if you are in this space right now, because they are forging their careers and they have high expectations around corporate travel, and potentially they're very, very loyal. As leisure travellers, they may be confined to school holidays because they're having families now, and they're working really hard because they're sort of in the middle of their careers. They're not going to really take huge amounts of or blocks of time off outside of those school holidays. So, yeah. And one of the things that growth hackers do around their growth hacking principles, I guess, and around having that laser focus on a particular segment, is they create an avatar or persona. And I'm sure you've heard of these terms before. We use it a lot around branding. But really, what the key message here is really knowing who your customer is back to front, really understanding not just their travel habits and where they're going, but who they really are, what's important to them outside of travel. Their kids, their grandchildren, these types of things are really important to understand, so that whenever you're making any travel decisions or any decisions around time or money, that you have to ask yourself, would Karen and Michael like this? Is this the sort of stuff that they would like? And I find this really helps if you have like a Karen and Michael, which are typical names of people in this generational cohort. If Karen and Michael like something, you go for it. If you're not too sure, or it might be you're targeting the solo female traveller, so ask if Karen and her friends would like it. So, yeah, I'm just going to have a sip of my tea, and you can read through that. Oh, that's nice. I want to put this up because, again, it's about focusing on the target market that's going to make us lots of money and being where they are being. And the reason I'm putting this up is because, again, in travel, we have a huge focus on Instagram. But I want you to have a look at this chart. The bottom two rows are our baby boomers. And look at where they are hanging out. It's not on Instagram. There's about 20% of them. And they're sort of the younger ones. Most of our baby boomers are either on Facebook or they're on YouTube. So these guys are massive YouTubers. They're using YouTube as a search engine. So again, this is probably a great time to have a look at your videos if you've got them. Make sure your videos are really optimized for search. And also, you know, they don't have to be highly produced, fancy Dan videos. They can just be videos that you and your staff have taken as tourism experts along the way. So just, again, focusing on some of these things and where they're hanging out. The problem I see, I mean, the campaigns are great, the holiday at home and book them out. They're great campaigns, but they're very Instagram driven. They're very hashtag driven. So just bear in mind that they're going to actually miss a lot of the over 55s, which brings me to, I think it's on the next couple of slides you'll see. One of the other things about growth hacking is that a good growth hacker is never a first to market. The first to market spends a lot of money. You need to be an early adopter. So it's great to, what I call, stand on the shoulders of giants. Look at what your competitors are doing right now. Look at what they're doing really good. And, you know, copying them is not a bad thing. So just do a bit of market research and competitive research right now. Look at other industries as well. So this is not just happening in travel, but we're seeing massive growth from this market in auto, beauty, and just the luxury market itself. So we saw some stats come out of the US last month that 80% of the luxury travel market is driven by the over 55s. So I've had quite a few suppliers, luxury high-end suppliers, say to me recently, we don't target seniors or baby boomers, we're in the luxury market. Well, who do you think has the acquired wealth to travel in the style of luxury? It's these guys. So we've got to get over ourselves and our misconceptions about who they are. Hack number 3, engage and educate. And again, right now is a really good time to engage your prospects. Whether you do that on the phone and just give them a call and say, hey, it's a great time to plan, really solidly plan, or it's a great time to look at your web content. So again, it's all about crystal clear communication, making sure that your content on your website is super relevant. So if you have a website that is there and you haven't touched it for 5 years, now is a good time to go in and put content, because that's going to affect you one of two ways. It won't, you know, because even though they're coming to you, they will do hundreds of hours of research online. So this is really, really important to really beef up your online presence. And I want to, again, use a bit of evidence because we're evidence-based marketers now. We're not focusing on hope it works. Despite our reliance on social media, overwhelmingly, Google is still sending the majority of traffic to sites, and our travellers are overwhelmingly searching. So what that means is, if I'm just a traveller sitting in my lounge room looking for information on destinations, good agents, or, you know, just a bit of inspo, I'm not necessarily going to go to Instagram or Facebook. I'm going to get on and just do general searching. And the only way that you are going to be picked up is if you have great content on your website, because it's the only way Google knows to present your page to your ideal customer. So this is how it kind of works. So again, a great chance to really look at what's going on with your web presence and your content. So these are the types of things that Google wants us to do, and also our customers. They want us to be there when our travellers are there. So it means having really great content that they can browse. This is a generation that reads stuff. So, and they also, when it comes to your YouTube videos, they will go beyond 3 seconds. They will watch your video all the way through if that's what they're interested in. So you need to be there, be useful, and be quick. So on the other side of that, being quick, they're also likely to want scannable content as well. So they'll want lovely pictures. So they might be sitting at school waiting to pick up the grandkids. They'll quickly get on. We all do it and have a look at, our favoured destination, and we'll look for information. These are really highly charged moments. So beautiful visuals, lots of breakout information, that type of thing. How are we going for time? Yeah, we're good. The other content helper I absolutely love, and I suggest you get on here because I think it's free for up to 5 searches. And I have this product, so if ever at a time, I've got the premium version, which brings unlimited. So if you want more than your 5 on a day, feel free to reach out and I can run one for you. But what this does is it gives you real-time information into what people are typing into the Google search box. So it's not the keyword tool that you find in AdWords. It is real-life information around what people are putting in there. So if you're a destination specialist or an experience specialist, you can go in, and again, it's a great time to do some market research into what people are looking for. So what that will do is give you ideas on what to post on social media. It will give you ideas on the type of content you need to create, the type of products that you need to promote in your advertising, any hot destinations or tours that are really popular right now. It's really, really fantastic, if you're looking for, just inspiration. The other thing that you can do right now, and this is something that growth hackers do really well, is social proof. So this is a really fantastic time to get any snippets. If you've ever been on TV or if you've ever been in the newspaper or quoted anywhere or done anything for a brand, make sure this goes onto your website if you can. Pull it all out because it matters. If people are making a decision between, say, 2 or 3 travel agents and you've got this stuff on your website, they're going to go with you. So these are make or break decision makers, if you like. So, okay, and awards are another great thing. If you have won an award, if you're an AFTA finalist, awards are huge. Make sure these are front and centre and everywhere on your website because, again, if they're deciding between 2 or 3 agents or products or tours, they're going to go for the one that has the awards. Super duper important. Again, another hack that you've all heard of. Now, as a travel industry, we are leaving millions on the table when it comes to follow-up. So what this means, are we letting our leads slip through the cracks? Are we sending out emails to our database and not looking to see who's opened those emails, who has clicked on those links? This is first-hand information. You all need to look at your latest or last e-newsletter. Have a look and see who's engaging. Typically it takes about 11 contact points between you and your prospect to potentially sell to them. It's so much more complex now. You have to really be in their faces. And I've got a term there called front load. So if you've got any campaigns or anything going on at the moment around, experiences, tours or destinations, make sure you contact them a lot in the beginning of your campaign. So it's a great time now to have a look and see what's, if anything, slipping through the cracks. And this is the sort of stuff that can be automated on MailChimp or any of the types of, email software programs that you are using. All the capabilities are there. Now, does your marketing team talk to the sales team? I put this in here, Belinda's laughing at me, because a friend of mine who is an agent does the most awesome marketing for the agency, and he puts in, terrific newsletters that have high engagement from past customers and potential customers. And so I was helping him one day looking at a spreadsheet of who had opened, it was MailChimp, who's opened the emails, and you can see exactly the names of the people who'd opened. We had one guy, Kevin, who'd opened and clicked on a cruise link 17 times. Now, what that means, it tells me Kevin's up for a cruise. He is actively searching for a cruise. Not only that, 17 times means he's probably sent that email to his wife and potentially a few friends. So he may not have clicked on that 17 times. So I said, who's calling Kevin? And he said, no one. So you need to be giving Kevin to the sales team to call. So this is where we're leaving so many sales on the table, and this is where growth hacking and growth hackers really, really step up. They're looking at this as a great way to make sales. So again, go to your last couple of emails, look and see who has clicked on your links and call them. So we have to be really, at this period in time, totally proactive. So any leads that are coming through the emails, just make sure that they're all being contacted. So this, I've just spoken about this. It's all on MailChimp and that type of software package. So, you know, we're not using sales and technology to the best of its ability. And, you know, this, as I mentioned at the very start, you know all this. So make sure when you send out an EDM, check who reads it. Make sure you meet with the sales team, give them a synopsis of what's happened, who's looking at what. Make sure somebody's calling them. So these analytics, and remember that this is all about growth hacking and evidence-based marketing and analytics. Make sure you're doing this stuff. So autoresponders are great as well, and this is something that's on MailChimp. What an autoresponder is basically a follow-up email in certain scenarios. So say, for example, I've sent out a newsletter to my database and I have several different offers. I might have a cruise, I might have a tour, I might have a solo deal. What you can do is program MailChimp, if someone clicks on the solo deal traveller, is to have a series of automated emails that you have pre-populated in MailChimp to follow up you know, information on that particular topic. So this stuff is really, really easy to automate as well. So make sure you're doing that. You can put your social proof on there. It's great for promotions and a whole range of things. Referrals, probably the most powerful growth hack. And again, this is not rocket science. It is the easiest way to get more customers. So while things are quiet, get on the phone. Have you taken your best clients out for lunch? This is the time to do it. Ask them what they love about your business. And while you're there, ask them to give you 2 referrals. Do you know 2 others? Do you have any other friends that you know, need some help with their travel planning? You've got to leverage your entire network and make it a part of your sales process. So you really need to get quite specific as this. So, you know, you can phrase it as a request for help, but it's also a great time to get to know your clients. So this is so important and so easy. And if you can't take them out to lunch, just get them on the phone, call. People want to help you. If they're happy with your service, you know, travel is all about happy times and great memories. We're not selling washing powder here, okay, or insurance, or maybe travel insurance, but, you know, this is not hard for us in the travel and tourism industry. Double referrals, I love, and this is great for suppliers. So what a double referral refers to is both the referrer and the referee receives a benefit. So what that means is you might, if you're a hotel, if you book 2 nights, you might get 1 free. Both of you will receive a benefit, not just the person that you're referring. You see this a lot with online shopping. There's double referrals, so you see a lot of I see it around clothes and also, you know, I think Dropbox is the most famous one for double referrals. But yeah, these are great, and making sure that it's heavily promoted. So referrals and testimonials. again, this is a great time. So if you're taking that client out for lunch, to ask them for a testimonial to go on your website. Really, really awesome. And again, this is all about social proof, telling prospective clients and customers that it's really, you know, why people are booking with you. So again, great time to do all this stuff. And I've got a little formula here that I use personally when I'm asking for testimonials, that I use. So when you do ask for a testimonial, people might struggle with what to say. I use this formula so that you can send them these questions for them to answer. So I think you get this deck, Linda,
yep.
Yep, yep. So I will leave that there. And I've got there, of course, ask them at peak happiness, when everyone's really happy and, yeah, they haven't got the virus yet. And that's it. That's
fabulous.
In a nutshell. It's probably a lot to sort of...
no, it was really good. It's really good overview of just some simple growth hacking principles that everyone can go away and look at in this time, which is really relevant right now, looking at your website content, your SEO content, your Facebook presence, the communication that you have with your clients, ramping that up in the current climate, what's going on. Keep them informed so that when they're ready to travel, they've got everything from you. They know you're ready to go and they can call, email, pop into the shop, whatever, wherever you may be, straight away and make that booking.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a bit of time now for Q&A. If you have any burning questions you'd like to ask Bronwyn, use your questions toolbox now and we can go through them. I've had a couple questions earlier on in regards to your survey poll that you did earlier. Are you able to share that at all, or is it under? It's
actually just for my clients of my report. So, so you actually got a special treat today. But yeah, so I'm happy for you to be client. Absolutely. So that's the benefit of being a client with me. I add value, and it's a special surprise for my clients as well. They're not expecting the results. So it's something that you guys can do for your clients, something special.
Great. Let me see if we've got any other questions that have come through. Can we get the recording up ASAP? Yes, William, I can do that for you. I will aim to have that up by close of business today, and that will be on the AFTA website under event and webinars. So it will be on the same page as where you would have clicked to register. Anne Louise has asked, can we re-show the last slide?
Yeah.
The back one?
There we go. Write all that down.
Oh, great. We've got a question from Andrew. How narrow should we target market? 5 years, 10 years, 20-year age groups?
Look, specifically with the over 55s. Now, I have to say it's a really good question because within the over 55s, there are plenty of other segments as well. So we've just started looking in depth into this market. With the over 55s, you know, broadly speaking right now, you can't go wrong. And I think the opportunity, and this comes from the birth chart that I showed at the very start, it'll be around 15 years that we have this opportunity before we have to start coming up with exit strategies. So that's why I put that boring chart up, because it's a great visual to show where the opportunity lay and when the population of retiring people drops. But yeah, look, they're just a joy. They are a joy. They're excited, not just about travel, but everything. So yeah, go for it.
Great. Well, just in regards to the social proofing, if you haven't already, AFTA do have a range of customized ATAS marketing assets that we can tailor with your store details, and you can use them across your social media, on your website. Some of them are flyers, you can hard copy print them out, and it explains what ATAS accreditation is and what that means for your customers and why you are accredited. We also do blog articles on our consumer-facing website, so atas.com.au, and we have them professionally written by a wonderful content writer, Ben Alcock, who's on the webinar today. And we always are looking for more contributors for quotes So they're obviously all travel focused, and we include tips and tricks or advice that our agents or our ATAS agents can give that goes onto our ATAS website. And we, at the moment, our website is getting over 30,000 visits a month.
Great.
So it's huge. So it's free to do. All we need is your contact details, and our content runner will reach out with whatever article we're writing on that particular story. And it's as easy as putting in a couple of tips or somewhere that you've been, some sort of advice to link it into the article. And it's a free way for you guys to leverage your accreditation. You get the link, you can promote it, goes back to our ATAS site, and it will include a link of your ATAS search directory profile that every ATAS participant has. So don't worry, you've all got one. If you haven't had a look at it, go on to atas.com.au and have a look. But if you're wanting to contribute, you can email me at belinda@after.com.au and I'll give you all the details.
Can I just say on that, this is a fantastic excuse to ring your customers. I think now is the perfect time to really, I guess, promote the benefit of being an AFTA ATAS agent because things are going to get pretty rocky. So again, I'd be posting this stuff if you have articles that, as you mentioned, people can click through to, and even have information on your own websites about being an ATAS agent and what this means. And again, it's a great excuse for conversation with your clients.
Great. So we do actually have our AFTA Member Roadshow coming up later this month. So we'll be kicking off in Melbourne on the 23rd of March. And we'll be also visiting Adelaide, Perth, Brisbane, and have 2 shows in Sydney, where all of our departments will be giving presentations on the importance of ATAS, a marketing update, an update from our advisory committee manager, compliance, and we'll also have our new training and development team as well. So it's really important for all of our members to engage and understand what AFTA is doing for our members and how you can engage with the brand and promote it to your customers as well. So if you want to have a look at the roadshow dates, they're on the AFTA website under the events tab. You can register, it's free to go, it's only a couple of hours out of the office, and you can also network and have a chat with any of the presenters if you've got any questions as well. All right, I've got one last question from Andrew. Do you recommend more sales, dollar or price-based marketing, or more aspirational type of marketing?
Andrew, that's a it depends question. I can, again, talk to this particular demographic. These guys appreciate value. Again, a big myth about this demographic is that they're price-driven. Price helps, but it's not the #1 thing that drives them. They're old enough to understand the true benefit of value. You know, I've seen they'll spend, you know, $20,000, $30,000 a piece ahead on an expedition cruise, and then they'll go and stay at the YHA. I wish I could say yes, but this is a situation, and we've looked at this in our research as well. This is all in our report. What they do value is the benefit of a full service agent. They understand the benefit of paying a bit more for a good agent, you know, for their VIP upgrades. You know, they understand that. So that's why service right now has never been more important. You've really got the opportunity to shine. And I wish I could give you a solid answer. Yes, of course, if there's a bargain, they'll be there to have it. But in terms of long-term business, it's really good to just show what you're worth. Great. True consulting.
Yes. All right, that's all the questions that we have so far. If you think of anything at a later point, feel free to email myself. I'll give you Bronwyn's details in the follow-up email as well if you'd like to reach out to her for any more information on her business and services. And we'll also aim to have this up and ready on the website by close of business today so you can share with your team. And if you're interested in any more webinars, please visit the AFTA website under the events tab again, and you'll have a full list of all of our webinars that are coming up. All right, thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.